Today this is Ron Caroni with Comic Privy, and we have an author, a published author, Jay, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the book that he has. It's called Rock and Roll Love Songs. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about the story.
All right, well, the story of Rock and Roll Love Songs takes place in Orlando of 1995 in the touristy part of the town of Orlando and the underground music scene. Lots of about 20-year-old band members. That's the type of character I'm going for. And it is the classic boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl. Unfortunately, boy falls into a fatal accident, then becomes a haunting entity, a poltergeist, if you will, in the Orlando underground music scene. And the friend of said protagonist ends up comforting this lady, and their relationship grows, much to the angst of my poltergeist, who is doing his business with people who have wronged him, and then he finds out about this tryst later and goes to solve it. The real twist in it would be, I don't want to give that away on camera actually, that's definitely worth reading, so I'll just go to the marketing aspects of this because it's probably worth reading. Marketing that I've been doing for this book, it is self-published, independently published through CreateSpace, so it's on Amazon.com. I've been going to cons such as this and to rock and roll shows, hip-hop concerts, tattoo parlors and such, just setting up a little booth, giving it a rock and roll feel, because I used to play in an underground rock band, and I have the mentality of, you have the media, what you made of your CD, this is the band I used to play in. So I sell it out of the trunk of my car. I'd rather sell it out of the trunk of my car than invest money to put it on a shelf for somebody to walk by and maybe get interested, when I can actually have a relationship with this person, engage in this person, say I have this band that I used to work with and this book that I wrote, and if you're interested, here they both are. If not, it was an honor to meet you, and that's where it is.
Now you say you were in a band.
Yes,
Was
sir.
the band had a lot of influence in you writing this book?
Absolutely. The band name is Chumley's Toy, and it is a Newport Richey, Tampa area based band, girl fronted much like Fiona Apple, backed by Incubus would be the sound for it, and that band did very well. We actually did 2 years on the Vans Warped Tour, got a couple of endorsements, and learned a good deal about general working in the music industry, which I brought to working in the publishing industry, the independent publishing industry, because like I said, to reiterate, I don't want to waste money on the marketing aspects of third-party marketing from a large house to distribute my product, whereas I could distribute it myself and have my own artistic control on it, get it to my fan base before I get to a larger platform of distribution, where then I'll have fan support, financial support to protect my creative integrity. And that happens to a lot of artists. They'll maintain it or they'll lose it, but that's just part of the career, part of the nature of the beast, if you will.
Now, evidently you're pretty busy as far as marketing, and that's one of the big things I have as far as marketing. Question, any advice you would give as far as someone who's looking to get involved in the entire writing process?
Into the writing process or the marketing of the writing?
Both.
Okay, the writing process is, everybody says, keep writing, continue writing. I have no problem saying this. I actually do a couple seminars and panels, but in the past I had a drug addiction and I've conquered it. One of my things to get my book to completion, to fruition, was I'm not going to do that unless I'm going to work. And the downside of that is I developed, at the time, a crutch and more of an addiction, and I had to clean that up and do the process. But you always write. If you have to make your own rules for that and you have to do something that dark to get that motivation, then you have to do what you have to do, but maintain your own integrity to your soul and your humanity when you get out of there. As for the marketing of it, it is what it is, and you just want to get your name out there. And there's a poem I wrote when I was in my rock band, and it goes, if no one knows, nobody goes to any of your shows. So you need to make the stack of flyers. You need to go to the mall. You need to say, hey, how you doing? Booth F3. You need to let people know. And once they know, then they go to see your show. Once they know that you're out there and they like what you're making, they'll want more. Always keep writing, always keep promoting. As far as mainstream marketing, there's a lot of cost to that. There's a lot of trend to that. You might be the next big thing, but that next big thing hasn't hit yet, so why are they going to care? Like, I've been into bands before they were big, and then they get big and they say, oh, you like this band? Oh, well, you're just like everybody else. You like it because your friend likes it. That's not the case. Whereas, if you were to go with this third-party marketing, my perception is I want to work with, let's just say, local radio station, Okay, well, what would you get with a local radio station? Concert tickets, limo ride, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of cost involved in that. And then you want the airtime for the person to hear it, to call in, to get whatever radio promotion there is. And then when do people listen to the radio? Prime time driving home, higher cost time of day to actually get this media, this marketing aired. So not only is there specific cost to type, there's specific cost to time of your marketing that you need to worry about. So for that demographic of, let's just say, local radio station listeners, I'd rather just go to the concert that they're promoting, camp out in front of it with a bunch of sample CDs of a couple PDFs and say, free media, free music, free whatever. People will take it, put it, and go, and listen to it later on their own time, read it on their own time. Or if they're on the radio, commercial comes on, you change the channel. You spent thousands of dollars to have somebody say, I like this, and they change the channel. Or they have iHeartRadio or Pandora or some other thing where it won't have your commercial. Because from what I understand, the populace of America is getting into not paying attention to commercials and sponsors, which is fine because nobody wants to waste time on a word from our sponsor. We would rather see what we want to see. I want to watch Power Rangers, not a commercial for Cocoa Puffs. I'd rather watch this happen. I'd rather know about this. So why waste money on that could be thrown away and could be discarded? Yeah, it's a bigger house, it's a bigger medium, but that's money it's up there, that's dealing with the mafia. At least I think so, because that's money that could be in your pocket that's going to somebody else that costs you way too much that you probably have to pay more for later in the long run. So keep your costs low, keep your product sound, and keep your soul, maintain your integrity as best as possible. As far as that's my look on the marketing. From a writer that I met at one of these cons actually said, you don't come to cons to sell your product, you come to the cons to get people to know about your product. You give them away the cheap stuff, you give away the expensive stuff to the people that, I don't want to say people that matter, because fans matter, to established artists, if you will, like Clive Barker. I met Clive Barker at the Scream Fest, and it was very nice because I was doing word of mouth promotions to one gentleman, and this individual who was right next to me turned out to be Clive Barker's business associate. He overheard me. He said, I want to introduce you to my friend. I'd love to meet him. Brings me over here, and I see that's Clive Barker. Brings me right to Clive Barker. He says, you call me Clive, not Mr. Barker. I appreciated that. And the people in line to meet Clive Barker said, this guy must be somebody. And because of that interaction, I got 20 book sales in a row. And it was all the people in the front of the line that saw this guy is talking to Clive Barker. This guy said, I'm looking forward to reading your book. They say, I like Clive Barker. He wants to read that. I want to check it out. And that got me a good chunk of change just for meeting a very established, successful artist. And what's cool, a couple months down the road, I heard from the business associate via text, he finished it and he liked it. And I appreciate that. And I can't quote that, release it because of who he is and this and that, but you can definitely quote me as saying that, please do. But that's a great feeling, you know, when you have an artist say, I like what you did. It's a very good feeling. This particular con, the Florida SuperCon down here in Miami, 2012, I got to meet Herschel Gordon Lewis, godfather of gore. And it was a bit of a bummer because I looked at him at his table and it was just Mr. Herschel Gordon Lewis, godfather of gore, and nobody to meet him. Next to him was this young, brand new starlet, with a line of people who want to meet them. And this other television show, some reality television show, has been on the air maybe for a handful of years, line to meet them. And it's this instant popularity, this instant fame. I was like, oh, I don't want to be attributed to that. I like, there it is. So I go up to Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis, he appreciated it. He knew I knew who he was, but I'm not going to fake it for him and say, I know your material. It's I respect you as an individual and I want to learn more. I wrote this novel. I would love it if you would look at it. They took it, asked me for an autograph, told me he's flying to Europe. He's going to have it done probably in a week. And I don't want any money from it. I'll work on my own movie deal. But if I hear that he liked it, I did a good job. And I'm pleased with that. Miss Ionite, she likes it. I'm pleased with that. I'll make my money in the end. I know it's coming, but I'm not going to sell out. I'll sell out a panel, sell out all the seats in the house. I'll try to. But selling out the soul, then you lose the integrity. You see that with musicians. Their first album was awesome. Their second album was better because they were strung out. Third album, they cleaned up, got their business sense, gave everything, all the control to their publishing company, to their producer, to their whatever, and there starts a degradation. Happened with the band Korn. Their latter albums aren't as great. Happened with Prince, unfortunately. Happened with his contract, New Power Generation. Things started falling apart. Things like that happen when you lose the integrity and the soul of what you're trying to release, and you go, oh, I want to be rich and I want to not work for a living. That can happen, but then you can maintain your integrity and still cash in. It's such a tricky game. It's really something. It's fun to play, but it's dangerous. It's the GZA. I don't know how many hip hop fans are out there, but from the GZA's Liquid Swords album, the Wu-Tang Clan, it's like he realizes that he is trapped in a deadly video game with just one man. You know, so you don't only watch your back, you watch your front. It's the people who front. They pull the stunts.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I really do look forward to reading your book, and I wish you the most success.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right.